Most people don't pull away because they stopped caring. They pull away because caring suddenly feels dangerous. At the beginning of any connection, everything feels light. There are no expectations, no pressure, no emotional risk. You're curious, you're relaxed, you're open. But then something changes. Conversations become deeper. Silence starts to matter. You begin to notice how much their response affects your mood. And that's when distance sometimes begins. Not because feelings disappeared, but because feelings grew. When you don't care much, you don't fear loss. But when you care deeply, the possibility of losing that person becomes real. And the brain reacts to that possibility like a threat. Humans are wired to protect themselves from emotional pain. The more meaningful something becomes, the more potential it has to hurt us. So instead of leaning in, some people lean back. This reaction is often connected to attachment patterns formed early in life. Some people learned that closeness leads to safety. Others learned that closeness leads to instability. If someone experienced inconsistency, abandonment, or emotional unpredictability growing up, intimacy can trigger alarm instead of comfort. They might not consciously think, "I'm scared," but their behavior says it. They answer slower. They create space. They become less expressive. From the outside, it looks like loss of interest, but from the inside, it can be fear of dependency. When you start needing someone emotionally, your sense of control shifts. Your mood can change based on their words. A delayed reply feels heavy. A small shift in tone feels threatening. For someone who values emotional independence, this feels destabilizing. So they regain control the only way they know how. They create distance. Distance restores emotional balance. It creates space where vulnerability had started to grow. There's also ego involved. Caring deeply means admitting someone matters. And when someone matters, they have influence. For some people, that influence feels uncomfortable. Because vulnerability requires surrender, and surrender requires trust. And trust feels risky when you've been hurt before. Here's the difficult truth. Sometimes people don't pull away from others. They pull away from their own feelings, because those feelings feel overwhelming. They prefer distance over uncertainty, control over emotional exposure, silence over risk. And here's something important to understand. You cannot love someone out of their fear. If someone pulls away because caring feels unsafe, only they can confront that pattern. You can communicate, you can reassure, but you cannot force emotional readiness. If you chase someone who is retreating from vulnerability, you create imbalance. And imbalance increases anxiety on both sides. So instead of asking, "Why are they losing interest?" ask a deeper question. Are they overwhelmed by what they're starting to feel? And then ask yourself something equally important. When I start to care deeply, do I lean in, or do I also step back? Because sometimes distance isn't rejection. Sometimes it's protection. But protection, if left unchecked, slowly destroys the very connection someone was afraid to lose.